Okay, part two. If you missed part one, here it is. Start there. We've already discussed stages 1 and 2, the acquisition and development. Here we're going to be discussing stages 3 and 4, the last stages, property management, and finally the exit strategy. This is going to be a little heavier on the financial jargon and will revolve squarely around the project's returns. My goal is that you finish this video with a clear understanding of 1, how we measure project success, and 2, how the resulting profits end up in your bank account. Speaking of profits, now we move on to stage 3, long-term management. After our interior designers have finished working their magic, they'll turn the new Airbnb hotel over to our property management team, who is in charge of keeping it maintained and keeping it occupied. In order to ensure that the building performs, we list our units on sites like Airbnb, Booking.com. We also use our own personal listing site, ApartmentInternational.com. It's also basically a catalog of all of our finished work, so I'd recommend you take a look. So what do we do with all the revenue that these investments generate? Well, after we use a small portion to pay utilities, maintenance, taxes, etc., we wire the rest to you, the investor, as dividends. These are paid every quarter, and for our investments, we look to pay you returns of between 8 to 10% of your investment every year in cash after taxes. However, we prefer to underpromise and overdeliver. Here are our 4 oldest projects, all originally projected at between 8 to 10% return on investment, or ROI. As you can see, they're now averaging a return of 13.3%, and our oldest project, El Poblado Suites in Medellin, is up above 15. We conservatively estimate that Bayside Suites will pay investors around 9.3% ROI each year net of taxes. But while ROI is useful for measuring returns in any given time period, like a year, this project is supposed to run for between 5 to 10 years, which makes IRR, or the internal rate of return, a better indicator of the performance of this investment. And that's because IRR takes a series of cash flows, whether they be negative or positive, and smooths them out into one beautiful average for the entire life of the project. So at this point, we've touched on 3 of the 4 key project stages, which also happen to be 3 of the 4 key pieces to building an IRR. So in the beginning, we've spent our capital on 1, the acquisition, 2, the development. So we have those large negative cash flows that we need in the beginning. And then, thanks to our property management team, we have piece 3, which is the quarterly stream of dividend payments coming in at a rate of about 9.3% per year. Which brings us to stage 4 and the final piece of our IRR, the exit strategy. This is when everybody gets their money back and more. So there are 2 ways to exit this investment. The first is you can simply sell your equity to someone else at any time. We can also sell your shares for you because shares in operational projects are in high demand among our client base. Option 2 is you wait for us to find a buyer for the whole building. Then, if the deal is worth taking, all of the original investors sell to the new buyer and everyone walks away with significantly more capital than they had to start. A successful exit is also how we as the managers make our money, so we're heavily incentivized to get you a good deal. Normally, we start looking for sale opportunities around year 3 when the project has had a chance to build a solid operational history. But we'd say that a sale is more likely between years 5 and 7. So now with the exit strategy under our belts, we have all the pieces that we need for the IRR. In the beginning, we have the large negative cash flows from when we put the capital to work. In the middle, we have a series of small positive cash flows that represent your dividends when the project is generating revenue. And then finally, at the end, we have the large positive cash flow when we sell the building or your shares at a profit. The IRR for this Bayside Suites project is 13.2%. What that means is that we project our investors will be walking away with an average return on their money of 13.2% for every year that they were invested in this project. I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you have any questions or are perhaps considering investing, please shoot me an email at taylor.l@lifeafar.com and I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. I also recommend you take a look at our official Bayside Suites investor package, which contains all the information that you could want on this project. That's about all I got. So thanks for watching.